Okay, everybody, today we're making stewed chicken. First thing we gotta do is wash that chicken. I am using some skinless boneless thighs and some drumsticks. So in my large or medium dochi, I am going to put in some oil. I'm going to set my oven to 400 because I actually do my chicken stew or stew chicken in the oven. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put that chicken in after it was clean. My mom taught me to clean chicken with water and white vinegar. Okay, so you just have to like rinse it in your sink or in your bowl or whatever. So once the chicken is nice and kind of patted dry or whatever, it ain't gonna be perfectly dry because I just washed it. And we're gonna put that chicken into a hot pan with enough oil just to cover a little bit more than the bottom of the pan. So I'm also using some chicken tenderloins and I'm seasoning them separate because I'm gonna put them in later because they're gonna cook a whole lot faster than the thighs and the legs and there's no bone attached to them. So they might can dry out a little bit more than the chicken that's already attached to the bone. So we're just gonna season those. Now, as you notice, I did not season the drumsticks when I put them in, but I am gonna season them because this is a stew. And the stew, you can just kind of throw everything in the pot. So I am using some bouillon cubes here in the U.S. They don't really sell them anymore big. They sell them small. So like in Africa and different countries and in the Caribbean, you can get them bigger, but they're smaller here. All right, so now let's start seasoning this chicken. We're going to use my seasoning, which is Chef Holly's Essential Seasoning that you can get on my website at www.phenomenalfoodbychefholly.com. This seasoning is not a seasoning that seasons salt mixed with something else. This is a complete, what we call it, a Virgin Islands pong up seasoning that I make myself. It's not mixed with other products from wherever else. It's mine. All right, so I am using beef bouillon cubes. I didn't have my chicken bouillon powder, so I had to use beef, which you can use, but I would suggest if you are cooking for someone who does not eat beef, please just don't be lazy like me. Run to the store and get the chicken bouillon. The chicken bouillon adds a lot of flavor, but the beef flavor adds a lot too. So I'm using beef because that's all I had, and we eat beef around here. All right, so we're gonna continue to get a nice brown on that chicken. You see that color? That's the kind of brown that you want to get on that chicken. So you want to have a pan that's not too small, that's big enough so that you can achieve that brown and it doesn't turn into like a liquid soupy mess. So this is kind of brown that you want to get or sear that you want to get on your chicken. Now in some countries they boil their chicken and then they fry it. Well, where I'm from, we put it all in the pan with the fry first and we do it all one time, which I think develops a whole lot more better flavor and it prevents the chicken from being dry. Don't nobody want no dry, dry, dry chicken because you boiled it for ever first and then you gonna put it in the fry it. The chicken overcooked. Stop overcooking your doggone chicken. Do it all one time. Brown it first. Fry it up first. Damn. All right, so you see I have my little chicken tenderloin breast pieces right there in the middle, and they're getting, a nice color and stuff on them. And we're just going to continue to move those around. And I'll just let y'all watch that as we keep going. All right, next up is we're going to put in about a tube of tomato paste. This is equivalent to probably like one of the small cans of tomato paste that you can buy in the grocery store. If you want a little bit more, to add more. Sometimes I do add more if I want more of a tomato-based flavor, which tomato is kind of the base flavor on this particular stew chicken that I'm making right here. You can also use Nigerian obayata sauce. That would be really good in here as well. So you're going to put in some onions. This is about a cup and a half of diced onions. Add as much as you want. I think actually it was like 2 cups. Add as many onions or at least onions, depending on how much, if you like them, if you don't like them. Celery, you're going to put about half of what you put in of onions. So then we're going to add in a bag of baby carrots. This is a pound of baby carrots. I love adding baby carrots to my stew because it gives it a sweetness that's just, you just can't compare. So we're going to throw all those baby carrots in there. And then we're going to have to mix all that up again and make sure all that gets nice and incorporated. We're also going to put in some dry thyme. This is another one of those things that's to your taste. In the Virgin Islands, we love to cook with thyme. If you ain't cooking with thyme, you ain't cooking. And then I'm going to put in a little Jamaican Mrs. Grace or Grace Browning. I love Grace Browning. It's my browning of choice. Nothing's wrong with Kitchen Bouquet if you have that, use it, but I think Grace Browning is by far the most superior. You also can make your own brownie. My mom taught me that you can make it with sugar in a pan, so you can make it yourself, but it's easier just to buy it. I put in a little bit of ginger paste that I got from Publix. That's about, 2 teaspoons of ginger paste. It adds a nice little zing to the stew chicken. It is something that you do not have to put in, so if you don't have it, don't worry about it. All right, you're gonna continue to stir, and incorporate all those flavors and those items into your stew. And they're looking good already, y'all. Oh my God. And I would actually serve this with some jasmine rice. It was delicious. You can also serve it with rice and peas or peas and rice. Peas and rice is what we call it in the Virgin Islands. Or you can have it with like some buttered pasta. It's completely up to you. You can also have it with mashed potatoes if you like to. Completely up to you. So we're going to cover that just a little bit. The heat is down to like medium low. We're going to throw in some fresh garlic cloves. That's just what I had left. I normally put in a lot more, but that's what I have left. So we're going to throw that in there. And right now the temperature is on medium low. I am putting in more bouillon cubes. Like I said, I'm using beef here, but if you have chicken, that is the preferred for this dish, but you can make it with beef too if your people you're cooking for do eat beef and they're okay with it. Like I said, I was being lazy. So in the bowl that I just had those chicken breasts seasoning in, I went ahead and I filled that up, and we're gonna add just enough water to cover not the top of the chicken, but just barely about to cover it, because we're gonna braise. And in braising, you're not boiling, so you don't want the water to cover over the top of the chicken. Like I said, I used a bowl that had the breast parts in it, so it had seasoning and stuff left in it. That's why I didn't rinse out that bowl before I use it. So I'm gonna add a little bit more browning because I felt like it needed a little bit more color, and we're gonna incorporate all that in. And like I said, once we have enough water in there to cover just not to cover it, just a little under it, we're gonna be ready to cover this up and throw this in the oven. I love putting my chicken stew or stew chicken in the oven because it doesn't take forever with the burning and all that craziness that can happen on top of the stove because you wasn't watching it. It cooks low and slow in the oven, and that is what I like. So we're gonna throw that into my oven on 400 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes. I am going to walk my happy behind upstairs and take me a little nap. I'm going to put away some of my ingredients. This is the Maggi that I use. This is how it comes where I live. We're going to put some of these dirty dishes and put these things away, and take some of these dirty dishes and put them in the sink excuse me, to wash. And now I'm going to take my behind back upstairs because I am off today and we're at Cooking at Home with Chef Holly. And I'm going to relax, probably watch a Nigerian movie or watch something on Netflix. All right, so we're just going to go and chill out, put my little house shoes up, and head back upstairs. Come back, check on our chicken in about 50 minutes, and then we'll see what we need to do. So this is what our chicken is looking like. And I did put it back in the oven because all that liquid was there, and I want that liquid to reduce. And this is why I say, do not boil your meat and then fry it and then put it in the stew. That's overcooking. If you do it all in one time, sear it, put everything together, it doesn't overcook, because this is the kind of a dish that's it cooks long, you know what I mean? And you don't want it to be longer so that it dries out. So do it all at one time. So this is me going back in to check on my chicken after putting it back in. And we're going to take the top off of that. And ooh-wee, baby. That's how that looks. We're going to add a little bit of crushed red pepper. I put about, I think, a rough half tablespoon crushed red pepper just to add a little bit of heat to the chicken. And it's still boiling. I do not have the stove on underneath me, y'all. It's just boiling. And it's reduced really nicely by leaving it in its oven a little bit longer. I did feel like it needed a little bit more salt, so I added some seasoning salt to this, you can add accent salt. You can also add a little bit more Chef Holly's Essential Seasoning, but I thought it needed a little punch of this McCormick, this Morton Seasonal, which has a really kind of high salt content, so it kind of gives you a nice punch really quickly if you need it. And we're just gonna mix that around. And actually, I did turn the stove back on. I forgot to say that. It was bubbling when it first came out, but I turned it back on because I wanted the sauce to reduce a little bit more. And I didn't add any cornstarch, anything like this. The bones in the chicken act like a natural thickener if you allow it to reduce. Then I put a little smoked paprika in there because I love that kind of smoked cooked outside flavor. So that's about a tablespoon of smoked paprika going in the end. And we're just going to stir it some more and allow this to reduce, not by half, but a little bit above half, because we still want a nice gravy, for lack of better words. I probably should be calling it au jus.
It's tender. I've used breast tenderloins.
I made some spinach, as you can see that's to the left, to go with this, and that is that. That's the little to-go plate that I put together in a little Rubbermaid Tupperware that I have, and this is the one that I made for me and my son. Excuse our at-home bowls. This is at-home cooking with Chef Holly, so stuff can look a little bit janky because we at the house. So I'll put in some thigh meat and some drumstick meat and some of that nice juice that's at the bottom. We're gonna add a little spinach on the side of that, and I'm gonna serve my son his plate, and he can eat his lunch/dinner. I'm gonna serve mine with some chopsticks because I like chopsticks with my jasmine rice. And I don't know, I just like chopsticks. So there is my son right there getting his food and getting ready to eat. And this was one of those really easy, quick dishes that's pretty much all in the pot, and add your sides. So I'm getting ready to eat mine. I like to stick my chopsticks in mine. Here's my son watching TV and enjoying his. I thank y'all for tuning in for this video for my simple chicken stew, or stew chicken, whichever one you want to call it. It's the same doggone thing. Thank y'all so much. Enjoy your day, and leave a comment. Please subscribe. Let me know how you guys, do your stew chicken. All right. Bye-bye.